Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News 22.
The nation remembers the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Marlene Baraza introduces us to a DACA recipient hoping to keep his young family together.
And Shelby Cap shows us a local horse on his way to the Kentucky Derby.
All that and more on News 22 Wednesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Adame.
And I'm Selena Madrid. The NMSU Board of Regents is getting closer to finding a replacement for Chancellor Gary Carruthers. The search committee is wrapping up its work of putting together a list of applicants.
The 19-member committee has compiled a list of candidates who have experience in agriculture, engineering, New Mexico culture, and who know how to fulfill the university's land grant mission of teaching and service. The regents are scheduled to announce their top 5 finalists for the job in mid-April. It's springtime, and that means warmer temperatures, and here at New Mexico State it also means watch out for dive-bombing hawks. For the past several years, Swanson's hawks have stopped to build their nests and raise their young here on campus. One pair has been spotted at the golf course, another pair in a tree just north of Renfro Hall. They can be dangerous. They have attacked several people that get too close to their nests.
You know, they're protected under the Migratory Bird Act, and so you have, once they lay that egg in that nest, there's really not a lot you can do. So we just encourage people to be careful. I have an umbrella over there hanging on my door that we had some hawk umbrellas made. Most of them have been taken home, but when you're in the area, you can carry an umbrella. The best thing to do is just, if you're walking, to walk around.
The hawks can do damage to your head, so if you're walking near the nest, make sure to wear a hat or carry an umbrella. And a side note, they seem to attack redheads more than anyone else. New Mexico is looking to add several thousand jobs over the next decade. A group called the American Jobs Project estimates the state has the potential to add almost 7,000 solar jobs. That potential is because of New Mexico's connections, research universities, and abundant sunshine. Much of the focus in New Mexico over the past 2 decades has been to recruit existing businesses to the state. The group says the state must make sure its policies support the solar industry.
And speaking of New Mexico, it is getting into disaster territory because of the continuing drought. Federal agriculture officials say a dozen New Mexico counties are now primary national disaster areas. The designation allows the farmers and ranchers of New Mexico to get assistance for their losses and damages caused by the dry conditions. In all, 27 of New Mexico's 33 counties are affected. The seasonal outlook shows drought conditions are expected to persist in New Mexico and much of the Southwest through June. And it's not sweater weather anymore. I'm actually starting to bring out my shorts.
Me too. It's getting pretty warm, and Vicki is next to tell us more with weather.
Thanks, guys. Speaking of rising New Mexico temperatures, currently in Las Cruces we have sunny skies, a temperature of 75 degrees, winds coming from the south at 7 miles per hour, our humidity at a low 13%, our dew point sits at 19 degrees, and our barometer reads at 29.85 inches. Today in Las Cruces, we did have a high of 79 degrees. We woke up to an overnight low of 50 degrees, averaging out to about 54 degrees. Traveling back in time in 1967, we had a high of 89 degrees, and a couple years later, we had an all-time low of 26 degrees. We haven't had rain since March, so our yearly rainfall sits at 0.81 inches. That's all I have for you now. Back to Amanda and Selena at the desk.
Thanks, Vicki. And today marks the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as the country remembers him, NMSU's Director of Black Programs feels that America has made some progress, but it still has ways to go.
Despite a particular thinking, at least right now we can go to school together with other groups, we can work together. But still, I think there's more to do in terms of acceptance and understanding culturally. How do you really bring the aspect of cohesion and infusion. That's the main thing that I think bothers the nation.
And while Dr. Arroyabo says American society still has to do much more to extend civil rights to African Americans, he says Dr. King's dream must be available to all the minorities in the country.
People from all walks of life are in Memphis, Tennessee today to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Omar Jimenez reports from the Lorraine Motel, now a part of the National Civil Rights Museum, just steps away from where the shots were fired.
It feels like it was yesterday.
It was today, 50 years ago, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. took his last breath.
Pow! I heard the shot. And when I didn't see him, actually his shoes got caught under here and it knocked him out of his shoes.
Reverend Jesse Jackson and Ambassador Andrew Young were there, now returning to the Lorraine Motel in Memphis together for the first time since then to honor the legacy of Dr. King.
There's nothing that I've done that I didn't feel was inspired by something that came into me through him.
And to be around him is to kind of see things different than what you had learned in school.
For many of the people that followed Dr. King, it's a time to reflect. And for his family, it's no different.
He left us with a blueprint for moving forward.
And that concept of unity will be exemplified at 7:01 p.m., the exact minute King was shot. The National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis will begin ringing a bell. Then hundreds of other public institutions and churches will follow. And by 7:07, bells will ring out around the world, each bell ringing 39 times, one for every year of his life. In Memphis, Tennessee, I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
A Borderland teacher is being nationally recognized for all his hard work. Manuel Mendoza has been teaching Spanish at Gadsden High School for more than 2 decades. One of his students discovered an organization called Honored and soon nominated Mr. Mendoza. The organization's mission is to recognize all positive works that teachers do in the country. Mendoza's students say he brings them burritos on test days and encourages them to be good students.
President Donald Trump says he will call on the military to guard the U.S.-Mexico border until his border wall is complete.
We have very bad laws for our border, and we are going to be doing some things. I've been speaking with General Mattis. We're going to be doing things militarily. Until we can have a wall and proper security, we're going to be guarding our border with the military.
2 sources confirmed last week that Trump is considering paying for his wall with the military budget. Over the weekend, President Donald Trump tweeted that any DACA deal is dead. That means there's likely no legislative fix to the almost 1 million DACA recipients in the country.
But the program is still in effect because the courts have not allowed it to end. As Marlene Baraza reports, the situation puts a strain on young families.
Javier Solis was born near the border in Juarez, Chihuahua. About 6 months later, his parents decided to give Javier a better life in Phoenix, Arizona. But the road to get there was not easy.
We came with a border crossing card, so we were allowed to be in the U.S. for 10 years. It was just a travel visa. It said that we weren't supposed to live or work here.
But live and work was what they did. Javier's parents tried to keep the truth hidden, at least until he was old enough to understand. But when he was 12 years old, his school went on a field trip to Carlsbad Caverns. He needed his parents' permission to go.
I told her, I was like, can I go? And then she said, no, you can't. And then that's when she explained to me why I couldn't go.
Javier was too young to understand, but when he was a senior in high school, while classmates applied for college, he found out he couldn't because of his status, and he gave up that dream.
I never applied anywhere. I never thought about college as a lifestyle. I always thought I was just going to work, and that's it.
Then in June 2012, President Obama created DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals.
It gave me a sense of relief, honestly. Like, it was a big weight off my shoulders.
It allowed certain people who came to the U.S. illegally as minors to be protected from immediate deportation. I spoke with Javier's mom, Manuela Solis, through FaceTime about how DACA changed their life. Fortunately, we received the news as a gift from God, to tell you the truth, when we learned of the program.
So would you say that DACA changed your perspective of life?
It gave me like a new vision on life, definitely.
There are no words to thank him for what this means and what this continues to mean for us, this opportunity that he gave to every child. Today, he's a manager at Big Five Sporting Goods and a few credits away from earning his bachelor's degree in psychology. He and his wife are expecting their first baby.
I'm really glad and fortunate that she's going to be born here, of course, because I don't want her to go through what I went through.
And he's still concerned about himself because President Trump wants to end DACA. The only thing keeping that from happening is a court order.
If you had 5 minutes with Trump, what would you say?
If I really had to put it down into words, I'd rather him add to what's going on than to subtract and take it away from people.
But he says he will continue to work and provide for his growing family and pray for a better future. I'm Marlene Barraza for News 22.
And stay tuned, Vicky will be back with your national forecast.
And later, a certain runaway races towards the Kentucky Derby. More on that when News 22 continues.
At a recent KRWG coffee visit, we talked with KRWG fans about why they value public media.
The fact that you're here in T or C says a lot to me, that you're interested in our community.
KRWG is my major source of information and entertainment.
Please support public radio. If not for yourself, do it for me.
Become a member online at krwg.org or call 1-888-922-5794. Thank you.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
I left my heart. I can count on the fingers of one hand the people who have shaped my life.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station, sign in, and start streaming today.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Wednesday,
where news matters. And a local horse is heading to the Kentucky Derby.
And News 22 Shelby Cap went all the way to Sunland Park Racetrack to see how the team was preparing for the big day.
They're now calling him a local legend. Runaway Ghost won the Sunland Park Derby, punching his ticket to the Kentucky Derby. Todd Fincher trains Runaway Ghost. He's based at the Sunland Park Racetrack. The Kentucky Derby is like the Super Bowl of horse racing, and Fincher is just trying to stay focused.
Everybody around me, everybody associated with the horse is having a blast. They're having a ball, real excited, making arrangements here and there. And me, I still have a job to do, and I'm still optimistically cautious.
The last horse from Sunland Park to go to the Kentucky Derby was Mind That Bird in 2009. He won the Derby. Hopefully, Runaway Ghost will follow in his footsteps to bring home a gold for Sunland Park.
Tracy Hebert will ride Runaway Ghost in the Derby. He's been racing his whole life at a disadvantage. He has vision in only one eye, meaning he has trouble seeing the horses around him.
My ear takes up for my blindness. You know, I use my ear as my eyesight. You know, I can hear and feel and just sense when I know there's something next to me. For them to have that faith in me and to give me the opportunity to ride him, it's truly a blessing.
He hopes Runaway Ghost will become a legend, just like Mind That Bird. Either way, he says it's the race of a lifetime. Shelby Cap, News 22.
The Derby is on May 5th, and there will be a lot of preparation before the big day with these local legends when they head off for their chance to race for a race of their lifetime. The 5th Annual Jewish Food and Folk Festival is coming to town this Sunday. The festival will serve flavors, sounds, and scents from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Sunday. It will also showcase traditional Jewish foods such as pastrami sandwiches on rye, nishes, hummus, and more. Also back will be live music from renowned klezmer artist Margaret Leverett, accompanied by Santa Fe musician Georgia Wax. There will also be a family fun area and a silent auction. Admission to the festival is $3. Kids under 12 get in free, and food will be sold at the event.
The Share the Road Las Cruces Visibility Ride is coming to town. The Share the Road Visibility Ride helps build awareness for bicyclists and motorists to stay safe and share the road safely. Starting Monday at 7, bicyclists will start their first ride together and continue on the second Monday of each month after to help raise awareness at the Las Cruces Railroad Museum. According to a news release, commuting by bicycle has multiple benefits: saving money, fighting pollution, and staying fit. All bicyclists are encouraged to wear their helmet and follow rules of the road. And a smile can say a lot about your health.
Here's Zach Covert with how to maintain good oral habits in today's Health Minute.
A smile can tell you if a person is happy. But did you know it can also tell you if they're healthy? Poor oral health can lead to problems down the road. The most common oral ailments are cavities and gum disease. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 91% of adults have tooth decay, and nearly half of the adults have periodontal disease. That can lead to inflammation in the mouth and destroy the bones that support teeth. Age, weight, smoking, and alcohol use are all risk factors for periodontal disease, which can also be connected to heart disease. Here's what you can do to maintain good oral health. Brush with fluoride toothpaste and floss between the teeth to remove dental plaque. Changing your toothpaste every 3 months or when the bristles wear out, and visit your dentist on a regular basis. Even if you have no natural teeth, don't use tobacco products and cut back on the sugar. For today's Health Minute, I'm Zach Covert.
And while it's snowing everywhere else, it's warming up here.
That is right. I hear the snow is actually pretty bad. Vicki, tell us more.
Thanks, Selena. Now looking at today's forecast, close to home, El Paso is at 80 degrees. Down south, Brownsville is looking at 69 degrees with some showers. New Orleans, sunny skies at 72, and New York at 54. But in my next map, focusing in on the Boston area, they will be expecting some snow spreads from Thursday night into Friday, with this low pressure moving upward from Milwaukee into Montreal. For this weekend in my next map, from Saturday to Sunday night, the storm will be on the move, continuing upward into Maine. So please be aware of travel disruptions. Your plans might be altered, and slush freezes at night. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk New Mexico local conditions. You're watching News 22 Wednesday.
Fresh Air with Terry Gross, weekday mornings at 11 on 90.7 FM and streaming live on KRWG.org.
Next time on Soundbreaking.
The ones I love the best are the groovers.
The quest for the perfect beat.
Like doom, 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 doom. Mono.
Friday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Next time on A Chef's Life. So today is pub day for my book, and then our tour will begin. My launch dinner is at Bon Appetit magazine. I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm stressed out.
Vivian Howard.
What's your broccoli dish? I buy broccoli every single time I go to the grocery store.
Thank you. Do you have any broccoli on the menu?
Yes, we do.
Oh, you do?
I'll be having that.
Saturday morning at 10 on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back. Now, taking a look at New Mexico temperatures. Farmington is currently looking at 65 degrees, Santa Fe at 62, Clovis also at 62, Socorro at 76, Roswell at 68, and Deming at 75 degrees. Tomorrow in New Mexico, looking at temperatures across New Mexico, Alamogordo tonight will be looking at clear skies with a low of 51. Tomorrow, a high of 81. And in Truth or Consequences tonight, we'll be having clear skies with a low of 52, and tomorrow a high of 84 with partially sunny skies. In Silver City, we'll have clear skies with a low of 44, and tomorrow partly sunny skies with a high of 75. And in the City of the Crosses tonight, we'll be having a low of 50 degrees and a high of 85 degrees tomorrow. That's all I have for you now. I'll be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast.
The YouTube community is still reeling today after a woman shot 3 people at the company's headquarters yesterday afternoon.
And now police are identifying the shooter who took her own life as they try to figure out what drove her to attack. Natasha Chen reports from San Bruno, California.
Nasim Agdam's family says this was her passion, preaching in favor of vegans, rallying against animal cruelty. In 2009, she was part of this PETA protest in San Diego, but she felt she reached the most people through her YouTube channel. Her relationship with the company made an ugly turn, though, when it changed its filters and she began to lose followers and viewers.
She was a nice person, innocent person.
She can't hear me, but I'm talking.
Today, she never heard any creature.
Her brother didn't want to show his face on camera and asked us to distort his voice, but said his family began worrying about Nasim over the weekend. She was staying at her grandmother's in San Diego, but she stopped answering her phone. They reported her missing to law enforcement. Those worries became worse when they located her car in Mountain View.
I googled the Mountain View. It was close to the YouTube headquarters. So, and she had a problem with YouTube. So we called that cop again and told him that there's a reason she went all the way from San Diego to that.
He says police told the family they'd keep an eye on her, but 12 hours later, the shooting happened.
I didn't know she has a gun, and then I thought maybe she's gonna go and start a fight or something.
Her family doesn't know why she decided to confront YouTube today, but says her birthday's tomorrow. She would have turned 38. Instead of celebrating, they're now mourning.
And our Aggie softball team had a big matchup against UNM yesterday.
Perfect, and David Guest is here to tell us more with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, find out which student athletes are being honored with academic achievements. That and much more when News 22 continues.
Next time on Soundbreaking, plugging in started a music revolution.
So I plug it in, I get it home, and I turn it up. It's like loud music.
It's audio testosterone.
The rhythm was dum 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 dum. Whatever the synthesizer could do.
It was like working on Frankenstein all day, all night.
Friday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm David Guest, here with the best. Now let's talk sports. The Lobos snapped a 9-game series winning streak for the Aggies yesterday. The Aggies fell to the Lobos 13-4 in the midweek contest. It's the first time since 2014 they are on the losing side. UNM scored 5 quick runs in the early innings before New Mexico State could gain ground. Senior Farron Glacken gave her team a boost with a triple in the bottom of the first. The closest the score came was 6-4, but the Aggie offense couldn't compete with the Lobo bats. For the team's next games, CSU will be coming to town for a 3-game series to open home conference play. It took the number 4 team in college baseball 9 innings to overcome New Mexico State 2-1. The Aggies met Texas Tech Red Raiders in Midland, Texas for a midweek clash. Trey Stein and Caleb Henderson combined for back-to-back hits to knock the first run of the game in to put the Crimson and White up 1-0. The game was tied 1-1 headed to the bottom of the 9th. Texas Tech took the win in walk-off fashion with a solo home run. The baseball team now posts a 16-13 record on the season and will take on CSU Bakersfield in California for a 3-game series this weekend. Tyler Rogers, Larry Rose III, Jaden Wright, Jacob Nwanga, and Jaleel Scott were among returning bowl winners to showcase their talents at NMSU's Football Pro Day this morning. Scott improved immensely with his prior short shuttle time and 3-cone times. 7 NFL scouts made the trip to Aggie Memorial Stadium. Experts have Jaleel slotted to go in the 5th or 6th round. He will be in Atlanta with his mother come draft day. New Mexico State is celebrating 27 student athletes from winter sports earning academic all-WAC honors. The Aggie women's indoor track and field team had 10 named all-WAC. The swimming and diving team also had 17 athletes earn the honor. To be eligible for academic all-WAC honors, a student athlete must have participated in at least 50% of the team's contests, completed at least one academic year, and have at least a 3.2 cumulative grade point average. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead, Vicki will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, a 70s TV hero is getting wondrous praise. Find out more when News 22 returns.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow.
So it's a lithograph by Salvador Dali. There are a lot of forgeries of his work. We all know that.
Really?
That's pretty,
Didn't know
except
that.
for you.
Is it real? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Portland, Oregon.
Monday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Motor Week is driven to bring you the best of the automotive world. Slide behind the wheel of the newest cars, SUVs, and trucks and connect to the high-tech mobility revolution. Get the download every week on Motor Week.
Saturday morning at 11:30 on KRWG-TV.
And that's all we have time for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us tomorrow for News 22 Thursday. I'm Selena Madrid.
I'm Amanda Lame.
Good night.
Good night.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, this is Daniel. And this is the Apollo 11 patch Daniel's dad created for NASA.
Michael Collins said what they want is they were the eagle, they were landing on the moon. So he said, I want an eagle in it, and I want the moon, and I want the Earth in the background.
Could this eagle take off in the collectibles market? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Monday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Well, honey, look at those boots. How about a touch-up? I can't help